Right. Feeling stressed at work? You are not alone. Gallup released its new State of the Global Workplace report on Tuesday. It found globally 59% of employees surveyed say they are quiet quitting, meaning they're not engaged at work. 23% say they are thriving at work, that is engaged. And 18% are loud quitting. That's being actively disengaged and letting everybody know about it, I guess. Let's bring in Jessica Kriegel, Chief Scientist of Workplace Culture at Culture Partners. So glad to have you here, especially with all of this amazing new polling. The polling also showed that the U.S. and Canada had the second most engaged workers, right? But also the most stressed workers, which I think kind of makes sense in the years after the pandemic. What do you make of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are returning to pre-pandemic norms, but we still have a post-pandemic mentality. So we're trying to balance this change and how do we adapt to it? It's interesting because at Culture Partners, we do our own research on what makes companies win. And the most adaptive cultures are the companies that have the most profitability. So that dynamic between the old and the new is what all these CEOs are trying to navigate. That is the key to reducing stress. It's the key to increasing profitability.
Sure.
We have to be able to adapt.
Does hybrid work mean, is that an adaptive culture? Because I know this survey found that hybrid workers were more engaged, but also more stressed.
Yeah, well, I understand that. I'm a hybrid worker. I'm more engaged. I'm also more stressed. There's a lot to manage. And the CEOs that are trying to go back to the old playbook, get people back into the office, they're the ones that aren't adapting.
What should organizations do? I mean, what is your advice to CEOs who are struggling with that, who are saying, I want people to come in more often, but these surveys are showing people are saying, no, 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 we don't want to do that.
It has to be flexibility. We have to balance all of these different pulls on our time, all of the different pulls on our mind and our mentality. If we cannot allow our employees to make their life work along with the work that they're doing at the workplace, they're going to leave. I mean, we see that in the form of quiet quitting, and we see that in the form of loud quitting.
Yeah, what does the loud quitting look like?
Loud quitting is toxic employees, someone who is disruptive to the organization. They are creating either passive aggressive actions in the workplace or they're just actually quitting.
How can companies get people more engaged? Because this survey also found that low engagement around the world costs the economy $8.8 trillion, right? So this is a financial imperative, I guess, if you look at it that way.
Absolutely. The Gallup poll actually asked people, what can we do to make the workplace better? And by far, the respondents in the survey said, improve culture. It wasn't compensation. It wasn't even well-being. So if I'm a CEO and I'm reading that, I'm not going to invest in any more meditation apps. I'm not going to throw money at the problem. I'm going to invest in culture. That's going to drive profitability and reduce stress.
Oh, always a great conversation. Jess Kriegel, thank you so much. Nice to see you at Culture Partners.
Thanks for having me.